Previously, a minimum viable experiment based roughly on Buffer's minimum viable product that produced some mixed results. Today, I'm going to give you the entire experiment framework in the form of a brand new cheat sheet cum workbook. We're going to take a critical look at the experiment details, and we're going to talk about what comes next. Will it be necessary to pivot, or should we persevere? Welcome to Development That Pays. My name is Gary Strawn, and I must say I like the idea of web testing. I started running tests on my own website years ago using a long since discontinued Google tool. It was pretty powerful. You could vary several elements of the page, titles, and images, and the tool would look after serving up the various combinations and counting the results. It would even tell you when the experiment was over, when one set of options had won over all the rest, which was great. However, my website didn't get a lot of visitors, so it might take weeks for enough data to come in. Not very satisfying. Fast forward a few years and I found myself running tests on the BBC Worldwide website. No problem with traffic here. With hundreds, nay thousands of visitors per day, we could get test results at a high level of confidence very, very quickly. During that time, I made a little bit of a name for myself. You see, at the beginning of each experiment, I'd make a pretty damn confident prediction of the outcome. And on each and every occasion, I was dead wrong. I was in real danger of turning myself off testing completely, so I count myself lucky that I came across a great article at that time. It was written by Noah Lorang at 37 Signals, which I think is now called Basecamp. And the article was entitled, A/B Testing, It's Not About the Results and It's Definitely Not About the Why. I'll put a link to the article in the description below. It's well worth a read. Here's what Noah has to say about testing. I don't judge a test based on what feedback we might have gotten about it. I don't judge a test based on what we think we might have learned about why a given variation performed. I don't judge a test based on the improvement in conversion or any other quantitative measure. I only judge a test. Can you guess what he's going to say? I only judge a test based on whether we designed and administered it properly. When I read this article, and you can bet that I shared it with my BBC Worldwide colleagues, I stopped worrying about the outcome of tests and instead I focused, or at least tried to, on the mechanics of running the test. I bring this up, as I'm sure you've guessed, because of the experiment we ran a few weeks ago. Without going into too much detail, the purpose of the test was to test demand for a course I was thinking of making. The Development That Pays audience, that's you, provided a short list of titles, and the Development That Pays audience, that's you again, selected the finalists. Agile That Pays, Real Life Agile, and Agile Done Right. It fell to me to set up the experiment, but was it a good experiment? One that I would have been happy to show to Noah Lorang? I think we should take a look. And to make it easier for you to take a look, I put the details of the experiment onto a brand new cheat sheet cum worksheet. I've called it the Mundane MVP Cheat Sheet and Worksheet. If you'd like to grab a copy, you'll find a link to it in the description below. Alright, let's evaluate. As far as I can tell, the first part was fine. I have to assume that Facebook knows how many times it served a particular ad, and I'm sure it knows how to count clicks correctly. While we're here, let's fill in some numbers. The winning advert was the Agile Done Right variation. It was displayed 4,868 times and was clicked 96 times. Doing the calculation gives us a click-through rate of 1.97, let's call it 2%. The other titles had click-through rates of 1.16 and 1.25, all of which were above the benchmark target of 1%. And in terms of the absolute number of impressions and clicks, I'd say the numbers were high enough for us to call them statistically significant. So yes, I'd be happy to talk to Noah about this part of the experiment. So in the language of the Lean Startup, we have ourselves a persevere rather than a pivot situation. Agile Done Right will be the title of the course. Moving on to the next part of the experiment. The landing page for Agile Done Right was viewed 35 times and the big yellow button was clicked 9 times. Doing the sums there gives us a click-through rate of 26%. I shared these results with you a couple of weeks ago and you were quick to spot that something looked fishy. As Rob said, the experiment raised questions about click-through rate and Facebook Google data. Now, the Facebook Google data thing that Rob is referring to is the disparity between these two numbers. How can 96 people click a link, but only 35 of them arrive on this page? Part of the answer is that these two numbers are measurements of different things. A click on a link, such as a link on a Facebook ad, is relatively easy to measure. What Google measures here is trickier. The page has to load, JavaScript has to trigger. There are a bunch of reasons why this number might be lower than the other one. The counting of clicks is also via a triggered JavaScript action. That, I think, is good news. It suggests that these two numbers are at least internally consistent, which is why the cheat sheet uses these two numbers to calculate the desired click-through rate. Now, a click-through rate of 26% is way lower than I was expecting, so it's looking like a pivot situation. But before we talk about that, what about the quality of the experiment? Helene raised an excellent point. With just a handful of click-throughs, it doesn't seem to be statistically significant. Which brings us to a key challenge of testing what I suppose is a funnel. The further we descend into the funnel, the less data we have to play with. I would have liked 10 times more clicks at least. But looking back up the funnel, to get 90 clicks here, I'd need 960 clicks here. I paid roughly $1 per click, giving us $960. But remember, there were 3 ad variations. So I'd be looking at an outlay of the best part of $3,000. Remember, we're testing something that I plan to give away for free, so that's way too rich for my blood. That's one problem. Another is that these 96 clicks took, if memory serves, 5 days to show up. I can't imagine waiting 50 days for a test to complete. Is this the end? Am I saying that the validated learning that we seek is now out of reach? Not quite. I have 3 ideas that, with a bit of luck, might let us run a good test without breaking the bank. Idea number 1, run a single ad variant. That immediately cuts my costs in 3. Idea number 2, close the gap between these two numbers, which I think I can do by counting requests for the landing page and clicks on the orange buttons server-side. In theory, that will remove any JavaScript-related weirdness. And idea number 3, increase the click-through rate. Now I'm paying for clicks, so increasing this click-through rate won't save me any money. But increasing this one would save me money. Why? Well, because the moment I get enough clicks, I stop the experiment. That's a theory. The plan is 2-pronged. Number 1, produce a better landing page, for obvious reasons. And number 2, pick a better audience. Now this one, I have to say, is high risk and it could backfire badly. But Facebook has a thing called lookalike audiences. And since I already have an audience that is completely perfect in every way, that's you, by the way, then my hope is that an audience that's just like you would be quite likely to, click. To summarize, the 3 ad variation experiment worked well here, but fell apart down here. But because the first part worked well, we now have a winning title. So we're now in a position to run a single ad campaign to a new improved landing page. And by tweaking things here and there, the hope is to achieve a result of statistical significance without breaking the bank. 3 things before we finish today. A reminder that you can download the Mundane MVP cheat sheet worksheet from the link in the description below. As with all Development That Pays cheat sheets, it comes with free upgrades for life, so go ahead and grab that right now. Secondly, I'd like to know what you think of the plan that I've laid out here today. Does it make sense? Have I missed a trick? Let me know in the comments below. And finally, if you have any suggestions for the content of the brand new landing page, I would love to hear from you. I find writing these things really, really difficult. And any suggestions you have at all would be very gratefully received. Again, let me know in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, it would be amazing if you'd click to like, share it far and wide, and hit the logo right here to subscribe for a new episode every Wednesday. I look forward to seeing you next time. Cheers for now.